everybody, my name is Mark and this is TBI Garage. And I was thinking recently about my Fiesta. It was coming up time for its oil change. And let me just change this for a second. Alright, so like I was saying, this is my 2017 Ford Fiesta. It's got like 102-ish thousand miles on it, and it's coming due for the oil change on it. And I kind of got to thinking, for me, up until here recently, just getting an oil change wasn't that big of a deal. You just, make an appointment, go up to Pep Boys and get your appointment, sit there for a little bit. But here lately, it's just been so crazy. So thinking, there's probably a lot of people that might not know how to do this, but are getting tired of paying $80, $90 for an oil change and might want to do this. So I thought I'd go with it a little bit. And I'm also going to rotate the tires, and so I've kind of got stuff set up for that too. So like some information about the car for people who may not know this type of stuff. So if you're looking at your tires and everything, this little plaque right here, most cars have it. It's in somewhere in the door jamb. So here it's in the door jamb. There's the lock. It'll either be like right there on most cars, or like somewhere here on the door. But for this one, like some of the information that it tells, this is like the data plate for the car, and it'll tell you the manufacturer, Ford, year, all that stuff like that. And a few other things. But like one of the big ones for this is this one right here. If it'll focus in. Probably not. But what this does is this tells you the size of your tires. And then right here it tells you the tire pressure that you need. So for the front and the rear, they need 32 pounds of pressure for your tires to be properly inflated. And this is kind of a big deal. If you have them overinflated, they wear wrong. If they're underinflated, they wear wrong, wear your tires out. You get worse gas mileage. But like if you don't know like what engine your car has or anything like that, you could always come in, pull the handle for the hood latch. I've already done that, which is right there. Now I'm going to come over and pop the hood real quick. There we go. So once it pops, you'll pull it up a little bit for people who don't know. And I don't know how hard this will be to see, but right here where my finger is, there's a little yellow lever, which is that right there. You move it over to the left a little bit. Oh, didn't mean for that to happen right there. So you'll move that over like this to the left. Then you'll grab your hood prop right here. And you'll put it in these two holes right here. And that holds your hood up. Now my engine bay is dirty. This is my everyday car. But one of the things that I wanted to point out here is for people who don't know, like I said, sometimes your car will have information like this little sticker right here. This is talking about like refrigerant and other things, but sometimes it'll have the sticker here for like your make, model, engine size. Sometimes there'll be like a diagram for the way your belt runs. But for this car, it's actually up here on the top of the hood. And so this thing doesn't want to focus in. But like the big one is down here. This says 1.6 liter. That tells you the size of the engine. So this one, 2017, and gasoline. But the big one is right here, this 1.6 liter, that designates the engine here. And some people might not even know what type of oil that they need, which is one of the good things that's provided. Is here's the oil cap right here. Looks like the little genie lamp. SAE. The 520 is the recommended weight of oil that you need for your car. Some other things that, real quick, that I'll talk about is if you're going to do an oil change, it might be time to go ahead and change your air filter. I cheated on this a little bit because I have a K&N air filter, but if you're just changing your air filter, don't pay the 80-90 bucks that they want to charge you. It's like $12 for a new filter. So this is a Torx bit, so it kind of looks like a star up top. It's kind of hard to see here, but it's got the little grooves. This is a T20. That's the size. And so there's 4 little screws on here on top of the box. So there's, if you're looking at the box here, there's one here, one here, one on this corner, one on this corner. This is your windshield washer fluid. And it's good to kind of check your battery terminals. Make sure they're not all corroded and that they're tight and everything. That there's no leaking battery acid, because that might mean that you need to get a new battery, or that that battery is soon short of this wall. So, like I was just saying, to do this you just, and I cheated a little bit. I got a K&N, so K&N, if you don't know, is a washable air filter. And so these will kind of just pull up a little bit. You don't have to fully take them out. And so I just took my air filter out to clean it so that it could dry. But if you're not doing that, all you do is just get a T24. You can get a whole pack of these for like 15 bucks, so they're not that expensive. So then give it a little tug. If one of them's not done all the way, just lift back the cover. Here's the air filter. Like I said, normally you'd take a new air filter and just, there's only one way to put it in. As you can see, this air filter is kind of funky shaped. There's only one way to put it in. You can't get it wrong. And then so what you would do is just take your new air filter, set it right back down in there, tighten everything up. I'm going to leave this one out because I just cleaned it with a K&N. Like I said, these are reusable. So I washed it, got all the dirt and everything off of it. And I need to let it dry because these take an oil coating. And I need to put that on tomorrow morning. So I'll just toss that right there. And while I'm here, I need a little bit of windshield washer fluid. So let me go ahead and just top that off. Oh, why are you spilling? Alright, got that done. And if you wanted to check a few other things, you could check like your radiator hoses and stuff like that. Make sure nothing's cracked and leaking. Over here in the back, right here, is your brakes. This one right here. And it says for this one, only use .4, so there's different types. And then I need to flush the radiator, but this is where you would check. You could just see the line here, that's the max, and it looks like we're just Need a little bit more, but like I said, I really need to flush this because I haven't done that on this car yet. You could check your serpentine belt here, which I'm not too worried about that one because I just changed that on this car a few months ago. That was a whole fiasco. I had that recorded, and yeah, I lost all the stuff for that one, but I don't want to talk about that. That was so much fun. And then like the other thing that I'm trying to get, I can't find a good hood prop. I keep buying them off of Amazon. They won't fit. This one broke here. So that's kind of it for here right now. But like, so one of the things that you have to do to check your oil is to jack the car up. And like I said, another thing that I'm going to do is rotate the tires. So one of the things I'll talk about real quick is this over here. Because if you're not familiar with some stuff, you can accidentally mess some stuff up with that, and not intending to. So get my handy dandy light down here, and we're going to look at the bottom of the car. So this thing right here, it runs pretty much the whole bottom of the car down here. This is your pinch weld. And so a lot of people will want to put a jack here and jack it up. Well, you can't really do, you can, but you need the right stuff to do that. If not, what'll happen if you put a jack here and try to jack this up, it's not really strong enough to do that. So what it'll do is just bend this all up and mess this all up, and you don't really want that. Now, hold on just a second. Let me lay back down. So they do make these right here. So this is a little, like a rubber puck that goes on your jack. And what it does is it wedges up in here like this. And then you can jack up safely off of your pinch weld. These are fairly cheap. I think they're like $15 for like 2 or 4 of them on Amazon. That's where I got this. You'll just have to, you know, watch them, because you can see I've used this one a little bit, and they over time will do like this one, get little things here, but then they'll end up splitting. But like I said, you don't necessarily want to jack the car up here with nothing to protect this pinch weld, because you'll just end up bending it all to crap and messing it all up, and you don't want that. And so I said I'm gonna rotate the tires too, and I have everything over here for that. So, oh, I lied. Just a second. So if you don't have one and you plan on doing something like this, this is a 4-way lug wrench, and it has like 4 of the common sizes of lug nuts. And so this one is a 19, so you can look at the top, and is it a 19? Yeah. So they just goes on like that. Now the good thing about this one is that let me just get this set up real quick. Okay, so if you don't necessarily have the strength to break this free, and you want to break your lug nuts free before you jack the car up, because if not, once they get up, they're going to start spinning, and it's going to be, if you don't have an impact or something like that, it's next to impossible to break it free. And what you could do is just kind of put a foot on this right here. I'm trying to do this with the camera. Just use your leg, grab here, push down, and it'll break it free. Just like that. And so I have my big jack over here. So like some stuff too is if you're planning on maybe starting to do some of this yourself, it's I used other smaller jacks that weren't that great, and I got this one at Harbor Freight for like 125 bucks, and it's one of the better things that I decided to do, because this thing just makes it so much easier to do a lot of stuff. So let me get my little puck back over here. And let me kind of get this set up. The only bad thing about these is the wheels on them just make it crazy sounding. So so for this one, you have the handle here. If you turn it to the left, it kind of lets the jack go down. If you turn it all the way to the right, and it pumps, you see the jack go up. When you're putting it under the car, make sure that it's loose like that. Hopefully I got a good angle of this. Good shot. Let me see. Oh, not really. You can't really see. Huh. Let me think about this for a second. Okay. Oh. Okay, that'll probably be good right there for a minute. So what I'm going to try to do is get like somewhere right in here-ish or so, maybe right there, and jack the car up. We'll see how it goes. That looks good. Can I get back to that frame? Oh, yeah. That works even better. So, that sucked. Let me move this over this way for a second. I got these little BBs on the floor, little plastic ones, and I just crushed one of them on my knee. So you can kind of see I was able to get my jack all the way back on this cross member back here. So it's just going to be slow for a minute, because I can't really pump a whole lot, but there we go. So with doing stuff like this too, depending on how you're going to do it, make sure you have your parking brake on. And if you're just going to use the front, put some chocks underneath the back tires to keep it from the vehicle from rolling, especially if you don't have a flat surface. So if you have ramps and have a buddy or someone who can help you, You can always do it that way, and to change the oil, just make sure you chalk the back. Alright, so you definitely want to get the car high enough off the ground so that the tires can be taken off. For us, this right here is going to be high enough because the oil plug is right here where this blue paint is. While we're down here though, CV boots look good. I'm not really worried about the shocks and everything, and the brake lines and the brakes and all this, because I just recently changed all this, so that's not that big of an issue for me right now. But the good thing is you know, I don't really see any leaks or anything like that, so that's good. So let me get a couple jack stands and stand the front up. So I'm planning on putting the jack stand probably right about here on this cross member right here, because it's nice and sturdy, and I'll do that on both sides just to make this a little easier. Give me just a second. 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so what I did there is counted the teeth. 1, 2, 3, 4. Because that's the same that I have on the other side. It's just because where I picked up the car at here is a little bit more passenger side. It didn't necessarily pick the car up quite level. So now what I need to do is slowly let it down and watch it come down on these jack stands. So, oh, that was faster than what I wanted it to be. So now it is fully supported by those 2 jack stands. Now what I'm going to do is get up and give it a good shake to make sure it's not going to fall. Okay, the jack stand wiggle is good for right now. So what I need to do is move to the rear of the car and kind of repeat the whole process and raise it up. I don't know if people are going to watch this or if they like this just straight up, but this is kind of how it always goes with this stuff. And if I wasn't recording, it would be a little faster. But hey, Wasn't sure if that was my jack for a second or thunder. It's raining a little bit here. So, what you have in the back is this beam back here. And it's just kind of, when I get it up, I'll show you a little bit more. I'm not really worried about the rear of the car either, like the shocks and all that stuff like that. All that was just replaced. I will look at the muffler and stuff, but here we go again. So right about there. Tighten the jack up. Oh, I ain't got this thing fully tight. There we go. There we go. Now you want to cooperate. There you go. Oh. Oh yeah, I think for this one I can't do that with that little rubber piece there, because it doesn't want to, that rubber piece bends. What am I? There we go. Yeah. Well, see, that was a good thing about not being, kind of being out from underneath the car, the safe thing. That way, if the jack does slip or anything like that, you're kind of covered. But it's kind of the same thing for this. You want to get it up high enough to get the jack stands under it. Or get the car about level. Okay. Oh, I gotta go a little higher. There we go. I think I'm only going to go half. Is that gonna be? Okay, so it's the next day, and as I say in the video, the camera that I was using died on me last night, and I lost part of what I was doing, so the actual oil draining from the car got lost, never to be found again when my camera died. But all I pretty much did, here's the oil filter. So I'll just explain it again real quick. So right here, this bolt, it's a 1/2-inch bolt with this blue paint right here. That's where your oil comes out. That's your oil drain pan plug. Oh, let me get this set up again real quick. Hey, there we go. Okay, so all I did was use a 1/2" wrench to undo that. Oil shot that way. And all you really need to do is make sure that your drain pan is in a position where it can be caught. And I think in that time, I also said that I think this car is now cursed now, because this is 2 videos that I've tried making with this car that the camera has died and I lost everything because I tried doing the serpentine belt and the same thing happened. So, like I said, to remove the oil, here's your oil pan. This little blackish bolt right here. It's a 1/2 or a 13. Just loosen it up, oil comes out. And the only other thing that I was talking about in that video was, I took the wheel off of the passenger side tire, or the passenger side front tire, and I swapped it with the rear on the driver's side to rotate the tires. And I think, and I can show this better now. If not, you're getting this twice. So, here we go. The one thing when rotating tires to be mindful of is, let me find the little thing here. These are directional tires. Yeah. So, if you see this little arrow, it says rotation that way. So, that means that this tire needs to rotate that way. So, when I swap it, I can't swap it to the other side on the driver's side. And I can't. So, you have to be just mindful of the direction that's pointing when you do the thing. I did use chalk box and I have my parking brake on now. So hopefully this will make one video that'll make sense. And let me go ahead and let this down. The only other thing is I'll need to switch tripods, but I was talking about the oil filter last night and about reinstalling it. So what I have done is clean my air filter. And so I'll just reinstall it real quick. Oh, come on. There we go. So, like I said before, you have the air box right there. There's just the 4 little Torx bits. 1, 2, 3, 4. Loosen them up. Pull it off. Old air filter goes out, new air filter goes in. Like I said, mine's cleanable, so I washed it last night and let it dry, and then put the oil on it that needs to go on it, and then just tighten this down. So at the end of the video, I'm going to explain about how I didn't do this. But like I said, this is the next day, and I'm going to have to put this in the middle of the video. Lovely editing. Anyway, so that is now done. Just make sure they're all... Yeah, you don't need to go crazy with these. And then, like I said last night, I can actually close the hood now. So I'm going to pick up the prop rod, put it back there. And like I said, that's broke. So just get it about right here, so a couple inches. Give it a drop. And then some of them you can, there's no gap here to do it, but some of them you can reach in there and give the hood a good and make sure that it's down tight. But this one, you can see, gotta say, it's not going anywhere. And on to back to last night. Well, I guess I'm going on my cell phone now because my camera just died. So, like, I think, I don't know how far I got. I got the drum brake. I'm not going to mess with that. Like I said, I replaced all the shocks and everything else. The brake lines are all good. So, I don't know how well it can be seen. There we go. You can kind of see that little ridge right there, and looks like little putty sticking off the edge of the stud right there. I know that's not the right name. I've put Loctite, or not Loctite, that'd be stupid. Anti-seize on these to keep them from kind of like locking up. So now I can just switch the tire. Try to do this without. So this is another one. If you don't think that you're strong enough to do this, what you could do is put it up on your leg. And use your leg to kind of support it and put it on there. So what I'm going to do is just kind of put a lug nut on here. What I was trying to say earlier before my other stuff died is that this would be the time that if you're really worried about it, to go ahead and clean your rim up fully, because it's there. You can get the back. It's easier to get into the spokes and everything like that from here. And so, yeah, that's a good shot of this. What you want to do too is, see, this is what I was talking about it spinning. If I had the parking brake on, which I said I needed to do earlier, this wouldn't happen. But you just want to kind of snug these up, and you want to go in a star pattern when you do this, because if you don't, what'll happen is it won't, it'll get seated onto the hub or kind of uneven. So you kind of want to go in a star pattern. Well, for a 5 lug, definitely a star pattern, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But since this is a 4 lug, go opposites. And like I said, I'm just going to snug these up. And then once you get the car down on the ground, that's when you do the final torque of them. So like I said, this is the passenger side front tire. It's now on the driver side rear. And I'm going to do everything like that all over again 4 more times. So I'm going to take the driver's side, flop it. I don't know if anybody necessarily wants to see that or not, so I'm just going to stop it right here for a minute. And then do that, just swap all 4 tires real quick. And then I'll be back. Hopefully this doesn't die too. Okay, something that I realized that might be a little beneficial is I was just talking about if you don't have enough strength to get the tire, you know, up here, you can't really see it. The on the rotor and everything where your lugs are at. There we go. up here. If you didn't have enough strength to pick the tire up and set it up here, you can use your legs. And so I'll kind of demonstrate that real quick. And here we go. Explain something else too while I'm at it, or piece of advice, or whatever you want to call it. So I got my tire here. I have my leg here. So what I'm going to do is just roll the tire onto my legs, and now it's setting in between my two knees. Then you can kind of scooch up, and let me flip this around now. Oh, there's my ugly face. Oh, come on, where's it? Okay, now I got it flipped around. And so what you want to do is line the hole up on the lug behind it. And I don't know if I can do this with a camera in my hand, but hey, let's try it, like I said. So what I'm doing now is kind of using my feet. There's that one, here's this one. And now if I just push, there it goes on. And so you can do this a couple of different ways. You can take your lug nut wrench and put your lug nut in, put it up on the lug, and spin. Now, what I didn't think about a minute ago, but I'm thinking about just as I was doing this a second ago, these should go on easy. See, I can free spin that. And that's the way it should be with these. They should go on easy. And so it's snugged up a little bit. And so what I'm going to do is go to this bottom one down here, because like I said earlier with the cross, it might just be trying to center itself on here. But at any point you feel like grit, I don't know if you can see what it's doing, but it's giving me a little resistance right now, just because the rim is trying to get on the hub, and it's kind of hard to see. This one looks like it's coming out too, but it should be easy, and this hasn't been hard. But if you're putting a whole lot, and now it's snugged. So this one a minute ago was getting tight. You can see it's loose now, and so that's what I was saying about the thing. But at any given point while doing this, if you are really just like, and it doesn't want to turn, it's probably cross-threading. And so, let's see how good you can see it for people. You can see the thread on the inside of the nut right here. I can't do this with two hands, but you can see the thread inside. That's that little ridge in there. And so you also have it here. And what cross threading is, if you don't have the nut on there level, it's trying to cut into the lug, and that's a bad thing. But see, you should just be able to flick this, even if you're just using the stuff from your toolkit that's in the car, if they have it anymore. Some of them don't even have spares anymore. But that's it for this part. But hopefully now, so I got all 4 tires. I'll leave that there for right now. I got all 4 tires rotated. Like I said, I just got them snug for right now. I'll go up and tighten them up later when they're all down on the ground. So hopefully this is done now. Let's take a gander. Oh, I need to move that other light. There we go. Studio lighting. Not really, but the camera that I was using just died. I think the battery died. So I don't know how my cell phone is going to do, but oh, where's the rack? For a lot of this stuff, it's good to use new racks, and all I'm doing is where the let me see if I can get it. There we go. Right here, that's where the drain plug goes in. And so I'm just wiping that up of any stuff. And you want to use like newer rags and everything that doesn't have dirt or sand or grit or anything like that in it. And just wiping off the bolt again. So this is just the opposite. Like I said, if you get this right, there's my ratchet. Oh. So there's the paint here, and there's paint on the nut that I showed earlier. You can kind of see it on the other side of my finger here, but it's also blue. So just give it a little snug, and that kind of lets you know that you're in the right spot and you haven't, you know, torqued this thing to the moon. So now I just need to slide my drain pan over a little bit. And I'm just using this rag to wipe up the oil that I spilled earlier. So, sometimes it's a gamble with that stuff, but it's part of the fun. Alright, so you see if I can get a good view of the oil filter now. Hey. So if certain people see this, I think this is a fram. That's frowned upon. They make better ones. I don't know if I'm going to need it, but I think I might just use it. So you have the little filter thing. It just snaps onto a socket. Oh, let me... Oh, that's tightening. Loosening. Wait. That doesn't feel right. Yes, it is. Unless this thing's like... Oh, God. Am I going to be able to get this thing back in there now? God, I hate changing oil sometimes. It can be one of the easiest things, but also one of the most difficult in the world. I might need to get a different. Are you in? Nope. There you go. No, that's right. It's just... I just put it on way too tight. So, there we go. I hope I didn't knock that out of place. But, so like back in the day, and the long ago, many moons ago when I was a lot younger, I had a stepbrother. He had an 89 Camaro. And for a while, that was his pride and joy. And so the fun part is now, there's the oil. It's going to leak all over this. But that car was his pride and joy for a while, and then someone... I'm using the wrong ratchet for this because it's a locking one. But... car yoga. There we go. So, I don't have a picture of it, but I can put a picture of what his kind of looked like. It was a 89 RS Camaro, so it was the 6-cylinder. Anyway, oh yes, just go everywhere. So with this being this way, sometimes you'll put the oil filter, fill it with oil. I'm not going to do that, but one thing to check. So it's kind of hard to see. Oh, but on the outer edge here is a little rubber gasket. Make sure that that gasket comes off. Right here, this one came off. Because what will happen is if you let that drain, if that gasket stays on there, what will happen is it won't seal up against here where it's at, and it'll leak oil. This happened to my Mustang once. What I was saying about my stepbrother's car, well, I'll say this and I'll continue that story. So, I was taking my Mustang to one place to get the oil changed. I could do it, but just at the time, it was more convenient. I didn't have all the tools necessarily at the time, and it's just more convenient to take it to some place. And the place I was taking it to, I wasn't happy with them anymore. And so I decided to go to another place, and someone recommended it to me. A local place, I'm not going to say the name. But anyway, my car started like spewing oil all over, the Mustang did, all over the inside of the hood and everything. I'm like, what's going on? And about that time, I live in Augusta, Georgia, and I was about to take a trip back home to Arkansas. And I was like, I can't make this trip if this car's doing this. So I took it to Pep Boys. And the guy's like, yeah, whoever just did your oil change was an idiot because they left the little ring on the other one so it's double gasketed. And that's why your car's leaking oil. So the good thing about that, it wasn't like a major problem. But the bad problem is that, you know, because someone didn't do something as simple as checking a little thing, I had to go get another oil change on my car. But to my stepbrothers, and this is another reason why it's good to change oil. So he had this Camaro, and he had it painted, and then someone keyed it, but he was still taking good care of it. And then like he was backing out of the driveway, and someone else backed into him and like smashed the back lights and messed the bumper, scratched the bumper up and stuff. And after that kind of happened, he kind of didn't necessarily take care of it. And when you get done with all this, it's always good to wipe all this off and clean it. That way, if it does start to leak at some point, you'll know it's not because of, hey, I just changed the oil and now, you know, well, if you clean it and just change the oil and it's leaking, then you could see why. So, like I said, he didn't take care of the car as good after that, and so the car didn't have an oil change for about 2 years. Then my other stepbrother wanted to buy it off of him, and he was doing that for a little bit, and then he stopped paying, so my stepbrother took the car back, and then I was going to ask about it because I liked the car, but my brother beat me to it. And so anyway, by the time all this happened, it had been about 2 years since the car had an oil change. And when that happened, you could see a little difficulty I had taking this one off. Oh God, we didn't have these little things that go over the top of the filter back then, but the filter was so old it almost split in half. It took us a few hours just to get the filter off. It was a nightmare. So, you know, changing your oil is not only good for your car because it keeps everything better protected and doesn't break down, but just trying to do stuff later on. Oh. So I did get a different style. I got a K&N. It's a better oil filter than what I had. So I was going to take a little bit of this oil and put it on this seal here. The good thing about this one is it has this little nut here on the bottom to take it on and off easier. So you just stick it on up there. And this is another one. It should screw on there fairly straight. And if it starts feeling like it's binding or being very difficult or anything like that, stop, because you're cross-threading it, and that's not a good thing. So that's where the starter's at. There we go. And you don't have to, like, when you're doing the oil filter, you don't have to get this thing on there like ungodly tight. Pretty much, if you can get it on there with your hand. I guess it all depends on grip strength and stuff like that. Hand tight is all you really have to get that thing. I mean, but if you want to double check, you can put a wrench on it and give it a little, just to be on the safe side. And I didn't do the smart thing and see what size wrench that was. Ooh. So it's bigger than a 3/4. Let's try a 21 mil. Nope. I got a 24. Nope. An inch. Oh, that works. One more, just to good measure. That should be good. And I'll forget that size and probably lose that wrench. So for that part, let me just wipe that little bit that came off right there. Alrighty. Hopefully this thing's still recording. Yep. Someone's gonna be like, this dude's an idiot. It's just taking like 3 hours to change the oil. Yeah, I know that, but I'm trying to explain it so people can understand and have a realistic expectation of changing the oil, because most people that do this stuff regularly don't really think about people who don't do this regularly and trying to start learning a little bit. Hey, I just noticed. So I looked and I was about to throw this away, but this would be the little sticker that you could take out and put on your windshield. So you'd put the date. I guess it would all depend. In 6 months, you could do the date of when it needs to be changed, or today's date, the current mileage, and the next mileage. So you'd need to look at your car. Most of them now are 5 to 7,000, 7,500 miles, depending on oil and car and things of that nature. I'm gonna do about a 5,000. But so the good thing is this oil here, I'll be able to take it to an auto parts store, and they have little, well, not little, they have big drums that you can store all this stuff in once you're done. So the drain plug is in. The oil is all out. So now it is time to throw that down. Let me put it where it needs to go this time. Why is this? I shake too bad. That's why it's going on. What? Here we go. Maybe this will make it better. Why are you doing that? Am I hitting the power button? I am. I'm hitting the power button. Sorry about that. So, maybe this will focus in a little better now. What are you doing? There we go. So, I think I got bit by a mosquito. Now, sometimes you can also undo your cap here, and it'll allow the oil to drain a little bit faster. So, toss that there. I'll wipe out my lovely funnel here. Just make sure it's clean. That goes right there. There we go. And I got the nice 5-quart jug, and that's what this should take. I got a there we go, Valvoline High Mile. Enhanced Max Life technology prevents breakdown. 50% more wear protection. Premium seal conditioners treat and prevent leaks. Vehicles over 75,000 miles. And hopefully I don't. There we go. It's raining, but okay. Oh, I was worried for a second. I shouldn't have been, but it's raining, and it almost sounded like stuff was just all on the ground. There for the longest time when I first started driving, I only used Valvoline. And it kind of is for a stupid reason. Why did I use Valvoline? So, this is the late 90s, early 2000s. And NASCAR was becoming pretty popular back then. And so it was kind of going through a golden age. Oh, I was trying to do this to show something. So, stay. Oh, this thing is dusty. So why did I like Valvoline? Right there. My favorite driver was Mark Martin. He was sponsored by Valvoline. So if it was good enough for his car, it was good enough for my car. And around that same time, my brother started giving me crap because Mark Martin changed his sponsorship from Valvoline to Viagra. Because that was when Viagra was first coming out. So he thought that that was just hilarious. Because he was a Dale Earnhardt fan. Oh, I need to clean this thing. It is dirty. So, toss that back over there. I guess another good thing would be check your cap. It's got this little green O-ring here. Make sure it's not like cracked or messed up in any way. And so, there we go. That's in place. So now we can check the oil. So, to check the oil is this little yellow handle right here. Just pull up. I probably need to start it and let the oil circulate a little bit, but this one's got the two little, you can kind of see. There we go, there and there. So if it's like right there, it's good. The little notch. I can't speak. What is wrong with me? I know the real reason. I just don't feel like saying it right now. Yep, there's oil there. So, oh, I can't start it right now anyway because I got the air filter out and I don't want to suck nasties in there. So, oh, just make sure that's pushed in there good. I got my Torx bit. I'm gonna leave this in here. And so normally at this point you would shut the hood, but so they have that sticker, pen, marker, but I had bought my own, so this is what I have. I got it in case my son saw it because you got the little Lightning McQueen looking car here. So I'm gonna put today's date, the grade, and then I'm going to put the mileage here that it needs to be. Yeah, I got the key. That it needs to be. I'm going to do 5,000 miles. And so, let's go over here. So today's date, or do I want to put the date? I'm thinking to myself here, do I want to put today's date or do I want to put the date 6 months from now? I'll do 6 months from now. So, March 7, 25. So I got the key. I'm probably going to have to put this down. When we were at the auto parts store, my son saw this little Batman. Oh, it tastes like oil. That was stupid. Why didn't you do that a minute ago? Oh, shut up. This little Batman air freshener. He thought it was like a little plush thing and he wanted it, so I got it for him. So now my car smells like vanilla. So here we go. Oil. I'm dumb, I did it again. So I don't care about the hood being open. Let's see if I can get this thing to focus in on that. There we go. So I want to hit the little on the side of the oh, shut up, here to change it because this mile's empty right now. Average mile per gallon. There we go. So I have 102,115. So I need to write on here. And all that other stuff is just because the car's not running. So we used a 520. Oh, this has got the little thing right there. Let me go down one. Used a 520 weight oil. And so I said, this is going to be 107,115. And watch, I'll stick this marker back in my mouth again. So there we go. Then I just fill this. Well, I want to peel it off and it just, there we go. Maybe this one will work. Why are you peeling off of the backing paper? Well, I guess these aren't really worth the 14 bucks I spent on them. Because every time I try taking one off, it just... And it's not going to stick to the window. Yeah. Okay, I look completely dumb, so let me go get the one out of the box. Oh, I'm not used to it setting this high. Where, oh, where did my little box go? There you are. All right, let's try this for the 8th time. Date 7 March 25 102,115 107,115. Okay, success. Now I finally have one. There's my spooky zombie dude. Isn't he handsome? I got more up there. Halloween's coming. Like this lovely gentleman right here. So... oh, here we go. old sticker off. And new sticker on. Hopefully this one doesn't fade too bad like the last one did. There we go. And so, now all I need to do is close the hood. Like I said, I still got to do the air filter. So, I'm not trying to say anything about that. So I'm going to close the hood, but I'm not going to completely shut it. Oh. So you just hood prop, push up. Hood prop goes over there, but like I said, that's broken. So normally what you want to do is just, you know, get it to right about here or so, and then just drop it and let it shut. And then kind of give it a push and give it a tug to make sure I'm not, I still got to do the air filter. So that's why that's like that for right now. So now it's a reverse process of what we did earlier with the jack. Come back here to the back. So make sure that that's, yep. Okay. Now, let me bring you back a little bit. I don't want to crush you on accident. So, turn this to the left, slowly. And now the car's on the ground. Pull the jack out. Oh. No. Come on. Wrangling the jack here. Yeah, I think that camera died. Hopefully I didn't do all this in vain. But I guess I'll find that out shortly. So for this one, I do have the rubber on here. And so maybe I can get this a little bit more center this time. See how that looks. Okay, so I have a gap now. So I wanted to bring this one here to talk about something. So you have the little handle here that when you lift up, this falls down. This piece right here. So I don't want to do it because everybody's asleep, but you do have to watch sometimes when you're under there doing this. If you hit this up, that just falls down. And it could pinch your finger, get jammed in there. It's really loud. So, I mean, I'm doing this more because it's loud. But if you're going to do that, only use one hand and make sure it's like over here. That you don't have something else up here, because you're going to, especially right here on one of these teeth, if you have your hand like this and you hit that, you're probably going to say a few bad words at the least. So, there we go. And here we go. Oh, that was way too fast. And that's just that popping that you heard. That's just a little splitter thing down there. It's nothing to worry about. So now all I have to do is torque all the lug nuts, and it's a day. Which I don't think I really need to show that, since I've already did the other part. But God, it's starting to come down there. So I might as well. There it is. That should be good. And if you do this at the house, it's good to, like, if you have one of these, just throw it in the car, drive it for a little bit, and then, you know, go back and check your lug nuts, just to make sure none of them kind of didn't get as tight as they need to be and come off, because if that's the case, you're having a really bad day. Oh. God, I wish I could breathe out of both nostrils sometime. And oh, so I guess if I stand about right there, oh, so like I said, my name is Mark. This is TBI Garage, and that was changing the oil in my Fiesta. So it's one of those that changing the oil is kind of like a beginner's thing. If you feel comfortable with that, because it's one nut on a drain pan, and the filter, pretty much, you can see that it's not too difficult. And yes, this did take quite a bit of time. And the only reason it took this much time is because I went through it the way that I did. But it's now 1:30 in the morning, and I'm melting, so I'm gonna call it a night. And yeah, I think the next project, I don't know if I said this on the last video, my 84 outside, the doors don't lock, so door lock actuators, 84 Mustang, it's gonna be the next thing that I do. So until then, I guess have fun, and don't feel too bad to try some stuff sometimes.